All right, guys, welcome to our Dream Team Zoom tonight. I am so, I don't know, happy, excited, all the things, whatever you want to call it. As you know, a bunch of us just came back from a regional event in Toledo, and these regional events are a lot of fun and they're very intimate compared to a Thrive Palooza where you're with thousands of people. Like you really get a chance to talk to people, to meet people, and to learn. And so we just had such a good time. And I was blown away, honored, all the things that our team, that was a good 3 hours away, some of us even further than that, we had the most people in attendance. So if that doesn't tell Laval that they need to have a regional event closer to Cincinnati, I don't know what does. But we'll see when that happens. So what I wanted tonight, I asked Courtney and Sandra if they would join me tonight and just I want their take on the weekend because I know for a fact that both of these gals have been to trainings and Thrive Paloozas and they've watched people on stage teach and pour into teams and they've been inspired by those people. And you guys, this weekend they got to be those people. And that is like such a milestone in someone's career. And it's maybe not for everybody. I'm not saying every promoter has to, some people don't like that stuff, but I know these two do. And so I was so excited that they got the opportunity to do it. And I just asked them if they could share what it meant to them, what they felt like, what they took away from the weekend, all the things. So Courtney, I know, is getting situated. So Sandra, we're going to have you start if that's good with you. You good? Okay, take it away, girl.
Okay, thanks, dear. So we had a regional training in January of 2020, prior to the whole pandemic thing and everything. And it was freezing cold, but it was so incredibly powerful. And there were probably about 150 people there, something like that. And I remember as it was being held at this church and listening to those ladies and listening to them pour into the wisdom of everything, of all of us, everything. I thought, you know what? One of these days, I want to be them. I want to be them. I want to do that. And I didn't know at what point it would, what it would look like or anything like that. So I went home and I added that to my vision board. I want to speak on stage. Okay, well, that could have been a stage at church. I don't know. I didn't know what God wanted it to be, And so fast forward to a few weeks ago, and that one on the vision board, it's been one of those ones that just stays on there, kind of gets moved to the next vision board, and everything. And then a few weeks ago, Tammy messaged me and she said, hey, she said, would you be willing to be one of the speakers in Toledo? And I went, are you kidding me? I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, I'm serious. And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, Tammy, this is on my vision board. And I was like, oh my word, just could not even begin to fathom. I'm me. I'm a nobody. I'm just a nobody trying to help other people and so forth. And so then she came back, I don't know, a few days later, and she goes, okay, here's your topic. And I barfed in my mouth, to be honest. And it was objections turning into opportunities. And y'all, I used to be scared to death of the objections. I would almost avoid getting into the hard conversations because I was afraid of what objection people were going to have. And I was scared of that. But that's why I have a three-way chat group. That's why people go into a three-way chat group. That is why I still go back and remind myself the messages of what Tammy sent to me. And then I have learned and I have written and made profuse notes as I've been in three-way chat groups with her about how to handle those objections so that whenever people put me in a three-way chat group, I can handle those. And then if somebody does have a hard question or something that pertains to like a nitpicky, or not nitpicky, but like a particular ingredient because of their health, that's when I message Tammy on the sidelines and I go, okay, sister, I need some info on this. And she'll give me that because that may not be something I have in my repertoire right now, but you know what? I do as soon as I learn it. And that's what all of these three-way chat groups are for, is to help us learn and to help our customers. And so as we got into our planning Zoom, I'll say this really quick, as we got into our planning Zoom with the 200K and the other 40K and myself, I could kind of tell that I thought, I want to make sure that this feeds everybody with what they need and that it feeds the purpose of the topic and so forth. And each person was going to take it kind of a little bit different direction. And, Tammy's were you the mindset one? Yes, you were the mindset one. You were, yeah, you were mindset. And that fed into what mine was of, you know, are your object or your everything you're reading and everything you're putting into your mind and so forth, and what you're telling yourself, are you feeding into your objections or are you feeding into your opportunities? It's not only just the objections that you may hear from a future customer, but what are the objections you're telling yourself? Are you sabotaging yourself or are you going to set yourself up for opportunities to come? And that was huge for me because I'm the queen of it. The queen of giving myself objections why I can't get to this next point. I'm the queen of giving myself an objection why I can't get that next sample out. By golly, yes, I can. Send the dang message. Throw the dang ball, Bert. Send the message. And so that was my whole reasoning for the way that I took the topic is just not only, yes, we learn how to handle the objections, but make sure that you are not letting those your own objections stop you and keep you from jumping and growing into the opportunities of where you're supposed to be next.
What was one of your biggest takeaways from the whole weekend? Like something that you learned or something that spoke to you or
Listening to Tammy Connors share, and also Jody Lindemuth. Those were two ladies I was not familiar with in any way, shape, or form. And they had some very powerful words. I don't have my notes in front of me because I have a different book. I think that's buried somewhere in the car. But
well, their topic was like overcoming hardships. And so I do feel like that topic that hit a lot of people right in the gut.
It did. And when, everybody has life happen. And I had this conversation with another promoter of mine just recently. Everybody has life happen. Everybody has hard things happen. It's what are you going to do? And unfortunately, I kind of let a hard part of life slow me down a little bit for a little bit. But I know now how to handle when a hardship comes and what I need to do for myself mindset wise and how to go beyond that and not let it become an objection in my life. That it will propel me into an opportunity. And they just really, they just fed my heart.
So what's on your vision board now, Sandra Dilbeck?
Oh my gosh, I have some pictures of some things. I have some things I have written down. I have some things that, as Lindsay say, that if they don't scare the crap out of you or make you want to barf, then it's not big enough. And they're big. They're big. I can see her little face looking. They're big.
Yeah. So one last question. I know like you wanted to barf when I gave you the topic. And I know you were excited, but you're also scared. Looking back now, like now that you've been on stage and you were able to pour into people, what moving forward that's going to change you? Like what do you feel now? Like I mean, you have to feel different.
I feel a bigger confidence, I guess, in myself and the ability to do some of the things that I've wanted to do, as far as being a leader and empowering my team and pouring into my team. There were a couple of people afterwards that said some things to me that just humbled me down to my toes. And I always want to remember the feeling of what it feels to be poured into by someone you absolutely admire and respect and be able to be that person for the people who are on my team and the people that they bring. I want to be able to always be the person that brings the love and the spirit and the welcome for my team and those to come.
Perfect. I love it. Courtney Sue, are you in a place where you can get on the thing? Or are you driving? Or are you stuck? Where are you at, girl? Where are you at? She was having some difficulties. All right. So while we wait on Courtney, just whenever you are able to, oh, nope. There she is. Oh, you made it back home. Okay, good.
Well, and literally it's so funny that Sam said this morning how everything moves. I was on my computer earlier, now I'm on my phone. So I had to figure out how to work my phone all over again. Okay.
So you're like a newbie. Okay, well,
Yes.
good. So Courtney's here. Okay, so Court, first you were asked to speak in Arizona, which everyone now knows, right? So Courtney is speaking on December 10th in Arizona. And then, excuse me, because you had, just because you're Courtney, and I know you talk to people and you connect with people. At some point in time, somewhere, sometime, like whether it was on Facebook, I don't even remember exactly how, but you had connected with Carrie Webb before, and she sent me a message. She's like, you know what? That Courtney Summers, I've talked to her before. She would be really good. Do you think she would be willing to speak? And I was like, holy crap, she's speaking at 2 freaking corporate events.
Yes.
So how's that feel?
Yeah, that was a pretty big deal. And you're going to hear my dogs in the background drinking all the water and eating all the food. So just know that that's happening. But yeah, I had actually connected with Carrie in Thrive Palooza this past year. I've always followed her. And I admired like her content and her realness. She was somebody who I felt was very authentic. And it's kind of funny because her husband has a truck and it's a Ford truck and it has a big Lavelle thing on it. And I remember like early on in the business, we had saw it on Facebook, but then when we went to the Toledo training the very first time in January, it was in the parking lot outside of the hotel. And I sent that to my husband and I was like, this needs to be our truck. Well, we have a Ford truck now. It just doesn't say Lavelle yet. But so it's kind of crazy how Carrie and I have intertwined with each other, but we did connect and Thrive Palooza after everything was over. And I just kind of walked straight up to her and was like, I want to introduce myself. I've been following you for a long time. And she was super sweet. And I said, I would love to do an opportunity live with you one day because I know how her success in the business has been. And I felt like her and I had similarities. And so we did a live together. And that's kind of how our relationship connected with each other. And then, yeah, when I was asked to speak, I had already been asked to speak for Arizona. And I had already been like wanting to puke from that. And then this came, on top of it. And I was like, well, I mean, the only way to get good at something is to do it. You have to feel your fear and do it anyway, right? So I was like, these people are asking me because they have the confidence in me. They think that I am capable of doing this and that I have words of wisdom to share with people. And I'm not going to say no to them. And I'm not going to let these people down. So I said yes. And you guys, it was nerve-wracking. It was nerve-wracking. And I'm just going to say, first of all, Tammy kicked off that whole event. Like Carrie and Courtney did their announcements, but Tammy was the first speaker. And let me tell you, when I say that Tammy set the bar, she set the bar. Like that woman walked across stage like she had been walking across stages her whole damn life. Like, so to sit back in my chair and be like, that's my leader, and then have to follow that up, I was like, great. So I'm not gonna lie, I got up there. Thankfully I was the third chair and was like, had some people to go before me, but people always tell me that they admire my confidence and I love that. But guys, just know I'm a real person. I am a human. And my hand was sweating the entire time I was holding that microphone. And I was like, oh dear God, like I wrote notes down, but like, am I going to remember what I was going to say? And then, it was just like, I had some bullet points, but I'm going to lead from the heart. My topic was thriving out loud. And that's what I'm good at. And that's why they asked me to speak about it, because I love thriving out loud. I tell everybody to be thriving out loud. People need to know that you are a thriver, and you need to be proud to be a thriver. Don't hold back because you're worried about what somebody else is going to think, or that somebody's going to make fun of you because of your sticker, that they're going to make fun of you because of your age that you're doing this. Do you know what I mean? You have a product that has done something for you in your life. It's done something for you in this business, or else you would not be here. So you should be proud of that. And the fact that we have an opportunity to share this with other people, like we get to be that person for someone else, just like Tammy was that person for Sandra. Sam was that person for me. You get to be that person for someone else. And who knows, you may have a team member one day that's speaking on a stage, and you get to be there and support them and be like, yes, we did this together. We built this together. And now they're going to share it with everybody. So it was truly an honor to be asked to speak. And I'm honestly really glad that I got this one out of the way and under my belt. And now I'm even more prepped and ready and excited for Arizona. And it just made me realize, you guys, that I do have things to offer to people in this business, even. And not one of us should ever focus on a rank, because they didn't tell one person in that room what their rank was of those people on that stage, because it didn't matter. The people that were in that room and the people that were on that stage are the people that are working their business. If you want to be completely flat out honest, I haven't been 12K for a year. So I'm a 4K right now, technically by rank, and I was on a stage. But it doesn't matter, because I show up every day and I work my business and I have something that I'm passionate about, thriving out loud, and they wanted me to share about it. And I have no idea what my topic is going to be for Arizona. So that is to come. But it was absolutely amazing. And I don't know if you have questions for me, Tammy, but I do have my notes of some takeaways. And I know I kind of like ran off there.
I would just like, what are some of your takeaways from it? Like, what, I know a lot of the people on here were in Toledo, but not everyone was, and not everyone who will watch this was. So just curious what your takeaways were.
Yeah. So my biggest, I wrote the names down of the people that were speaking, and I didn't write their last names, but if you have the graphic, you can go back in and look at their names. But this one lady, Cheryl, she put on there, don't chase, attract. And how many of us are chasing that next customer, chasing that next promoter? Like, we want that person so bad, but we really need to be attracting that person. We need to be doing the things and acting for the person that we want to bring in, right? And then Amy, she was one of my favorite people. And if you guys heard that we're on the Mindset Zoom this morning with me, you got to hear a little bit of this. But she talked about affirmations and the law of transmutation. And one of my biggest takeaways from her was create and disintegrate. Like, we create these thoughts in our minds before they ever even happen. Like, when it comes to a group chat, like, we automatically think the worst. So we're like, okay, we're not even gonna create it. We're not even gonna do the chat today because I'm freaking out. But it's get those thoughts out of your head, say them, get them out, whatever you need to do, and throw them away, disintegrate them. And then where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if we're constantly focusing on being scared of doing things in this business, then that's where your energy is going to flow. You're always going to be scared. You've got to change your mindset and the things that you want to focus on. And speaking of mindset, I wrote this quote down, and I have no idea who said it, but it said, your income will never surpass your mindset. And man, like, that gives me goosebumps just saying it out loud again, because that's so true. We get paid every Tuesday. What does your paycheck look like? It's probably a reflection of your mindset. So that's really spoke to me. And then the last couple things were rest and renew. Don't quit or give up. Rest and renew. We all go through shit, you guys. We all have life happen to us. We all have things that we're going through that people don't know about. And it's okay to just take a moment and say, hey, I need to chill. If all I can do is take my capsules and get Thrive in my body that day, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm not going to quit, and I'm not going to give up. And then last but not least is, being vulnerable. Your transparency will lead to someone else's transformation. And that is huge, because when you're open and you're honest, that may be what brings somebody into this business. So you being open, honest, vulnerable is going to lead to somebody else's transformation. So those were huge takeaways for me. and then I have an entire page of Tammy Battaglia. But so I mean, it was just all around amazing. I loved being able to pour into people, and I loved being able to get poured into at the same time. And then, just to be around everybody, that it was like a little mini, but it was so much more intimate that once we broke away all of the events, being able to mix and mingle and fellowship and, just being the community that we talk about, our community is unmatched. It just is. I don't care what any other team says. You can't find anything better than this group of people. So it was just awesome. I'm still on a high.
I love it. I love hearing everybody so excited. So I'm going to just throw this out. The other faces on here, you guys were in Toledo. Unmute, share with us. What did the weekend mean for you? It could be like something that someone said, or it could just be, what did it mean to you? Like, what was it like for you to get away, to be surrounded by Thrivers, to get to have that little mini Thrive Palooza? Don't be shy now.
She will call on you.
Yeah.
I'll go. I wrote down your income will never surpass your mindset, because that mindset is something that I'm continuing to work on. I was going to say a different phrase, but I'm not going to say that phrase. So, and just being together. And for those of you that weren't able to be there, when I tell you Dream Team,
Show me your sign. Show me your sign. Show me your sign.
huh?
Show me your sign.
Oh,
Lindsay, they showed up with signs. And we literally had, when someone got up to speak from our team, we had signs. It was so good. I loved it.
I was so proud to be a part of this team on Saturday. I really was. The speakers were amazing. And for all of us to be there, I thought it spoke volumes to what we have as a team and as a community, that we were the team that had the most people there, and you have people who live in Toledo who didn't have that many people there.
Right.
So my cup is full. We laughed, we cried, we ate, we learned. I mean, it was just amazing.
Well, and shout out to Lisa and Shantae, because they actually were given a job before they even got there to do a whole table setup. And they were originally told that they were going to have to pass out samples and talk to people. So they were ready for that. But then the whole table situation didn't pan out that way. So, and I'm kind of glad, because you got to relax and actually take stuff in. And then Cammie and Olivia aren't on here, but we also had 2 other people that did all the Q&A running and doing prizes and stuff. So, I mean, it was literally like, it was like a little mini dream team for Palooza. I was so proud. Okay, who else wants to add something? Hit it, Sonia.
I will. Yeah, like Courtney said, that attract what you want instead of chasing. Also, where your focus goes is where you grow. And then don't send a message if your energy is low, because then the message is going to be a low energy message. So that was some things. And then the ones who had loss and worked through it, that really affected me, as you know. It helped me to know that even though I lost Charlie, and just doing the capsules every day, at least I was showing up and doing something.
Oh, girl.
Even though it wasn't growing my business, I showed up every day. And I was thankful that the others that have gone through that have inspired me to do that.
It's no coincidence that you came to Toledo, Miss Anya. I don't know if you put that together yet, but that all definitely panned out. And you're right, you guys as Thrivers, the number one thing we have to do is take care of ourselves. There's no way you can help somebody feel great if you don't. So when the hardships, or whatever you want to call them, happen, if all you do is take your own Thrive and keep breathing, good for you. Like, good for you. Because there's a lot of people that would stop. They would stop doing it all. They would stop the whole thing. I mean, and to Sonia's credit, everything she's been through, you guys, she's always on the Zooms. She's commenting it. So you've done more than just take your capsules, even when things were bad. And we all know that, and we all love you. And that's why we all wanted you to come. So I'm very glad you were there. Carolyn, Shantae, you girls were there.
All right. And I agree with you, Sonia. Sometimes, just getting through the bare basics happens, but that was one thing I was grateful for, was getting to be around all of you guys again. It built my confidence again because I felt like my confidence was backing back down. So that was a huge getaway, not that it was from Toledo specifically. It was just having our tribe together, I guess. But a couple of the takeaways that I had wrote down was every single day start over. It immediately brought me back to our tracker and how every month we go back to zero. Everybody goes back to zero. And if we were back in the mindset of, treating every day as zero, that could be huge.
Mhm.
That's huge because, there's a lot of things to factor into there. Like you got to like keep on running. Because that's your paycheck basically. And your what did I write? Your struggle can get you to your strength. So even though you're struggling and you don't see it, your strength is present. It's just not your present at the moment.
Mhm.
But it's coming. And so I wrote those two things down. But there was a lot of podcasts, a lot of books, a lot of things that I wrote down. The fragile egg, that was a good little analogy that I think Amy talked about, with your new promoters, to treat them like a fragile egg. So you don't want to like keep feeding everything into there and getting them to crack. You just want to kind of like baby them and kind of like, carry them
Yeah.
through the thing. So those were a few of my takeaways, but I'm going to say the biggest one was just being together and having my cup refilled so that I have things going on too. So that just kind of kept me pushing forward to the next. Plus, I mean, there was a situation that arose while we were there, and I was able to stay strong during it. So that helped too. And I don't think that I probably would have if I didn't have all of the support. So there's that.
You did awesome. Miss Carolyn.
Hi. I loved it. And the main thing that I love right now is that even the people that are at 200K or at 800K, like they're still real people. And because there are, unfortunately, some people that reach certain ranks and they don't feel approachable. They don't feel real. And I think it's so important that no matter what rank you are, that you can look at somebody, make eye contact, encourage, feel where they are.
Mhm.
And I hope, and when that happens, and it will happen, I don't ever want to change. I don't ever want to lose what it's like to feel where I am right now, which is reset, start over, do things different.
Mhm.
And it's okay because I can tell somebody one day, I was there, I had to start over more than once. I had to start over, and it's okay. And I just loved, I can't remember her name, the little girl in the little white dress. I thought she was adorable.
Oh, Carrie.
I loved how she talked about her van and how she put graphics on it. And it wasn't a luxury vehicle, but she did it anyway. Just great, great stuff. And it's just, it was awesome to be a part of it. I told Shantae, I can't wait to go back. It was just great, and building those relationships and building memories that are gonna last a lifetime.
Mhm.
So I'm just so proud of all you guys.
Well, the whole freaking team made me proud. I've just been a little, I don't know, on cloud nine for days. So you guys, I want you to remember how it felt, because there will be more events that are going to come up, and they might be 4 hours away. They might be 6 hours away. I don't know. I really honestly don't know where they're going to do all these, but you may be close to it, or you may have a team member close to it. And you want to encourage your team and yourself to be at these things, because everything that you guys just all said, the reason they wanted to do these small regional events are because they know when people leave Tripalooza, they're like, sky high, but that's once a year. 365 days, you can't have one event and that'll hold people for 365 days. So when these events pop up and they work with your calendar and they work with your location, you want to go, you want to get there, you want to, and I love a good road trip, like where we all pile in someone's car and go. So just keep that in mind, encourage your team to do these types of things. And the other thing I want to add is that yes, this was a corporate event. Yes, it was awesome. Yes, there was tons of new people, but nothing beats like a regular old fashioned local in your backyard, in our backyard, at the Y, in your kitchen. So remember what you felt was created by regular people. You all just said they were so down to earth, they were so regular, it didn't matter what rank they were. Well, guess what? It doesn't matter what rank you are. You have something to share with people. So if you want to have a few people over and talk about Thrive, let me know. I'll come over. We'll all come over. We'll get 3 or 4 of us together. That's plenty. That's a lot of energy in one person's house. And we'll share that same energy with someone else. So yes, regional events are awesome. Yes, Paloozas are, I mean, phenomenal, but so are you. Like they're like, I think Sandra and Courtney are special, but I'm going to say this. They're not special. Okay. Right. They're just regular people. They're promoters. They started at the same place you started at, and you saw them up there and you heard them talk. And that is what they have grown to learn about themselves to share. And you guys have that in you too. So the next time somebody says, hey, will you speak at our local, or hey, will you speak on a call? Or the next time you have a feeling of like, you know, I really want to, I liked that Carrie girl. I wonder if she would do a live with me. Ask her. That's how Courtney hooked up with her. That's how you guys, I asked her to be our guest speaker on that Thursday. And it was the very next day. She was like, hey, would you like to be a speaker? I don't know I don't know that any of this would have happened had I not reached out and asked her to share with the team, right? You work with people who you're connected with. So get connected. That's it. That's all. That's my soapbox. I love all of you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. Bye.